site, which is
right.
Hard to do, I went to Google and I put it in the search engine for, Vatic Project, and then I put, Michael Sarian, Origins of Evil, and I wanted the 6 through 13 series, so I put that in, and it came up saying there is no such animal.
Wow.
And I went, okay, so now Google's not showing it.
Yeah.
So there's something important in that series of videos. Well, I finally found it. That was on the very first blog we ever did, which was way back in January of 10, January of 2010. And they had buried it way back there. They had taken it off where I was and put it back there. Okay. I pulled them back up, and I've put them up again, because every time they do something to me, I do it worse back.
Good for you.
Well, go ahead.
Well, you just at a certain point, you just can't take it anymore. You've got to fight back. It's like, okay, I've had enough.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even. Yeah. I never went through that stage of I've had enough. I've had it since the beginning when I saw that day.
Okay.
I have been like this ever since.
Well, so tell us about Michael Sarian.
Okay.
Yeah, because I agree with you. He's one of the most important people around today.
Yes, he's more important than almost any of the other, Jordan Maxwell, great guy and all that. But
right.
I'm going to tell you now, Michael Sarian has hit it on the head. He is absolutely right on. Everything, it's the only thing I've seen, and he even uses Isaiah. Isaiah talks in there, like on chapter 13, verse 3, and he brings that up, and you go and you look and you go, oh my gosh, why didn't I ever see this? And why is Noah's father, who is Enoch, one of the most important people in the Bible, was so important that he was risen up with the whole town, alive. They did not have to die.
Oh, okay.
Risen up alive to go straight to heaven. Okay? Yeah. Why, if he was that important to God, why was the book of Enoch taken out of the Bible?
Huh.
Well, if you read the book of Enoch, he tells you what's going on, and I'm telling you, it's one of the few you don't have to interpret. He pretty much tells it like it is, that, it's aliens. I mean, it's like, there's no doubt about it when you read his book. Well, that's why the Catholic Church, back in the Nicene Conference, purged a lot out of. Yeah. There was over 1,000 writings that were purged of the people who were involved, who were involved in everything, especially the apostles, and they were all purged out. And then Luke was put in, who had never walked with Christ or had never been an apostle.
Well, I believe it. Yeah. So there's so much gamesmanship that has gone on in manipulating mankind for thousands of years, and that's what Michael Sarian shows us, and he does it masterfully. Yes.
Masterfully. The man spent 30 years researching all this, and it all makes sense. When you get through watching those 13, and I've watched them 3 times now, because I missed so much. You have to go back and rewatch and pick up more. But there's video number 8 is just about the corporate logos of all the corporations. Yeah. They're all occult, demonic, satanic symbols.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that they've all been, originally they had a positive spin,
And what these, the controllers, if you will, have done is they've turned them all around backwards. So they've put the negative spin on something that actually was intended to be a positive, and it's turned around for control purposes.
Yeah, well, actually, I think, there's more history as well on this. When you go back far enough, it's always been secret societies.
Yeah, yeah.
And initiations and basically magic, okay? Demonic, being able to travel, suspend your, like being in the Matrix, the movie The Matrix. You're able to they're able to suspend these things. They have these secrets.
Right.
And only their bloodlines control these secrets, and they pass it on generation to generation.
That's right.
And I have a blog up that talks about black arts and black science.
Okay. While you're mentioning this, let's give everybody your website so that they can write it down.
Oh, yeah, sure. It's what I suggest you do, because they're harassing me, is just go to Google and put in Vatic, V-A-T-I-C, Project, P-R-O-J-E-C-T, Vatic Project. Now, if you want to try the website, here it is, www.vaticproject, all one word, .blogspot, blogspot.com.
Wonderful. Okay, good. Good. Okay. So now continue with what you were saying about the secret societies and the bloodlines.
Oh, yeah, and the bloodlines. And, this is so hard. I wish we had like 2 hours.
Well, we can do another show together.
Okay, if people want it. But let me tell you, the best way to deal with this is to go and watch this series. I'm serious. Yeah. At 5 o'clock tonight, the first 5 went up. At 2 a.m. in the morning, the next, from 6, the 6th video through the 13th will be up. Now, I've repaired the videos and everything. No, that doesn't mean they won't take them down again, but just keep checking back, because every time they do it, I put them back up.
Okay, now, there's another thing that you might be interested in, and the listeners might be interested in. You can get a free copy, an ebook by Michael Tsarian, and it's called Atlantis, Alien Visitation, and Genetic Manipulation.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a PDF file, and it is by far the most comprehensive overview of what's really going on here on the planet, which, as you said, it would take hours to go into this. Most people that are listening know this stuff. So, we're preaching to the choir for the most part, but there's a lot that you can go back and pick up, and it continually surprises me how deep the rabbit hole goes. So, if you have a link to that, up to the PDF file, I'll send you a link to that, and you can put it up if you want.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because when he came out with the book, I found that book, maybe a couple of years ago, and I bought it, and it was like $32 or something like that. Well, I lent it to a friend, and she wouldn't give it back to me. So it was like a whole year later, and I thought, well, all right, that's fine. I'll just go buy another one. And so I went to Amazon. The used book was selling for $225.
And
there was no way I could buy that book.
They take it off the market. Yeah, you have to go to Michael's site, I think, to those things. But it is free on the internet so far. I mean, how long that lasts, I don't know.
Well, I think that's wonderful that he's doing that, because he could make money you know, that means he's really doing that for us, and that's a commendable thing. And but seriously, reading this or watching those videos has explained so much that I had gaps and holes. But it explains everything. Now, do you remember on my blog, I did 2 blogs just on the RH blood factor.
Yeah.
The negative, RH negative blood factor. And that may very well be tied into alien blood. There's nothing, everything in our bodies can be traced back through nature. Okay? Back to the smallest amoeba. But this one thing, RH negative, which is a missing protein on the, like the O or the A or the B, creates a negative. That is nowhere in nature. Nowhere.
Huh. Whoa.
Nowhere.
Well, that's not
even. Even mutations have a tracing about. You can trace back. But this has none. Nowhere. Nothing. There's nothing to have been mutated from for that to have occurred. Also, I've got a blog on that shows that 10 strands of our DNA have been disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
And we only use 90%, we only use 10% of our brain. So I can't imagine how powerful we really are. That they spent millions and billions of dollars convincing us we're not. And Michael Sarian...
Yeah.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Michael Sarian said, we are marvelous creatures living ordinary lives. And I think he's right. And all my blog on the December 25th and January 1st are proof of our power that they are afraid of. They're afraid of us. And I had no idea. They're afraid of us.
And they use fear to control us.
That's right, because they are afraid of us. That's why they want to get rid of us.
Right.
Because they're afraid of us. They don't want to be afraid anymore.
Right. But they also need us because it's a symbiotic host-virus kind of relationship.
Well, they need some of us. They don't need as many as there are of us.
Right.
They only need maybe, 500 million max. They can control that.
According to the Georgia Guidestones.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
And they put that, did you know, I did not know this, the Guidestones were put up by a Luciferian organization.
I did not know. I did not know.
Yeah, I found that out. It was a Luciferian organization in Georgia that paid for that and ordered it and got it put up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, not surprising. This is the darkest period, according to the Hindu Vedas and many other spiritual writings that you and I were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That we are in the darkest dark before the light at the end of the tunnel. And I have to believe for myself that in the long run, the light or goodness or the truth, whatever you want to call it, prevails. And that this is a learning experience for all of us, and that I think it's time for us to grow up and graduate.
Yeah. Well, the good news is I've got another blog up that was on December 25th, and on there is called The Thunderbolts of the Gods.
Oh,
and I really highly recommend people go look at that. It's about how our universe is not at all like what they have taught us. It's a plasma universe, and that is power and energy. And our connection to the sun and water is deeper than just life-sustaining for our bodies. Sun and water affect our DNA, and is a direct connection to the global consciousness or universal consciousness. But it's not esoteric. It's actually scientific. It's actually grounded in science, and